friends, Mrs. Perez has a book for you today. I bet you know who that little monkey is, don't you? Yes, his name is George, Curious George, and he is always curious. That means he really wants to know stuff. Curious George plants a seed. I think he's going to learn to plant seeds. Curious George plants the seeds, and this is adapted by Erica Zappi. Jumpy Squirrel was very busy. George was curious. What was Jumpy Squirrel doing? Can you see what he's doing? He's dug a hole, hasn't he? Bill, the boy next door, told George, Jumpy buries acorns and nuts. He stores them in the ground. He can dig them up later when he is hungry. Oh, so we know what Jumpy was doing. He was burying his seeds and nuts for later. That gave George an idea. George buried the orange juice. He buried the butter. He buried the bread. He was glad to find a place to store food. Should you bury your food to store it? Well, when the man with the yellow hat came home, the kitchen was empty. Where was all of their food? We know where it was, huh? Someone got curious. George proudly showed his friend. George, orange juice and bread are not for burying, the man with the yellow hat said. They cannot be stored in the ground. His friend showed George a peanut with a sprout. See it growing up? George was puzzled. The peanut grew from a plant, the man said. Seeds and nuts grow out of the ground if they are not eaten first. George thought he understood. If a little peanut could become a big plant, what would a rubber band become? Would it become a big inner tube? What would a feather become? Can you grow a peacock? George dug lots of holes. He buried lots of things. Can you see in that little window right there what he buried? An umbrella and a chair. Soon the house was empty. The man with the yellow hat was surprised. Did George bury all their things? George, umbrellas and chairs are not for burying, the man with the yellow hat explained. They are made by people. They are not going to grow. Seeds and nuts will grow. A few days later, George saw something new in the yard. It was a sprout. Look, George, said his friend, a seed you buried is growing. I wonder what it will be. See that little sprout coming up? And then George is taking care of it. Yeah, that sprout needs water to grow. Soon there was a beautiful sunflower in the yard. George had a green thumb after all. So George was able to grow a sunflower. All right, let me ask you a question. If you plant a feather, will a peacock grow? No. If you plant an umbrella, will a new umbrella grow? No. What if you plant your favorite toy? Will a tree with lots of toys grow? No. What do you plant? You can plant seeds and beans and nuts, and then new food will grow. So if you plant a pumpkin seed, what will grow? Yeah, a pumpkin vine, right? And on that vine, pumpkins should grow. If you plant an apple seed, what will grow? Yeah, an apple tree, and apples will grow. So you can plant those kinds of things, but you can't plant objects such as George was doing, right? We know that, don't we? All right, I'm going to show you a little art activity. We are going to make our own flowers. So you can have your parents gather up some colorful papers, any colors you want, and ask your parents to cut little squares about 4 to 5 inches. And then I'm going to show you how you can take those little squares and turn them into beautiful flowers. Okie dokie, I have my supplies. I have my scissors and glue, and then I have some paper. Now your parents are going to help you with this part. You can cut squares about 4 inches by 4 inches. So you can choose, several colors of paper. And then I've also cut very small squares. These are about 1 inch. Okay, and then I also cut some rectangles. This is probably like about 1 inch by maybe 5 inches, but there's no need to measure. You can just eyeball it, all right? Just so that we have some squares and rectangles. Okie dokes. So these are the kind of flowers I'm going to teach you to make. So I'm going to teach you to make like kind of like a daisy with some petals on it like this. And then I'm also going to teach you how to make a tulip. All right? Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and start by making the daisy. Okay, let me choose red this time. All right, notice that your square has 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to cut all 4 corners off. Let me show you how to do that. So you're going to angle your scissors, okay, at an angle like that. You're just going to go ahead and cut that away. Okay, so you've basically cut a little triangle away. Okay, but notice that there are still some little points there. So you're going to want to snip that off and snip that off, and then turn your paper. See that corner? We're going to angle our scissors again on a diagonal and cut that off. Snip and snip, and then turn your paper. There's another corner. This is number 3. I'm going to snip that off, and see those other little points? Go ahead and snip there and snip there. And turn it one last time and snip the last corner off. That's number 4. And snip here and snip there. Now notice you have turned your square into a circle. Okay? And now we're going to do the same thing with one of your smaller squares. Now this time you're going to have to make a little teeny tiny cut. So snip off that corner and snip, and then come around and snip off that corner and snip off those little points. And then this is the 3rd corner. And then here's the very last corner. Snip, snip, snip. And you've made a circle. And we're going to glue that circle right smack in the center of the larger circle. Now let me show you how to make the petals. Okay, start here on the edge and just snip. Not all the way to the center, just make little cuts, see? And a cut, and a cut. I'm basically just opening my scissors and closing them one time. Open and close, open and close. And notice too that I'm making like probably about a finger space between each one. So snip and snip, and you're rotating this circle as you go. See how I have to re-grasp and rotate my circle? I'm almost to the end. All right, how about one more? I bet I can probably fit one more right there. There we go. All right, now to make it more dimensional, give it some dimension, you're going to go ahead and lift every other petal. Just bend it up a little bit. You don't have to make a crease. Just bend it ever so slightly. Ta-da! And there you have it. There is, and there's a little daisy. Now I'm going to show you how to make a tulip. So I'm going to choose pink this time. Now, last time, to make that circle, we cut off all 4 corners. This time, you're only going to cut off 2 corners, okay? So here we go. Here's our first corner. Going to hold your scissors at an angle. You're going to get really good at this. And then see those little points? Go ahead and snip those off. It makes it more round. And this is the second and last corner that you're going to cut. And here, snip that little part off and snip that little part off. And you can see it kind of looks like a pocket. All right? You've got a straight line here, a straight edge, and a rounder edge here. All right? Now, to cut the shape that looks like a tulip, you're going to hold your paper and angle your scissors inward like this, okay? And make a nice cut. And then you're going to imagine that there's a line here from the center of the paper to that last cut, okay? So I'm going to angle my scissors the other way. And basically, I've cut a triangle, right? See how that worked? All right, and then we're going to do the same thing one more time. So you're going to angle your scissors. Start at this little point right there. Angle your scissors. And then you're going to come over here to the outside corner and angle your scissors the other way. And you've just cut another little triangle out. Ta-da! There's a tulip. There's a tulip. All right, now we've got that done. I'm going to show you how to do the leaves, okay? So I've actually drawn on here. So you're going to fold that rectangle in half and then draw a nice leaf shape and then keep it folded as you cut. You can actually hold the fold and cut on the lines. And when you've done that, you should have 2 leaves. Yeah, 2 leaves. Let me clean up this a little bit. All right. Now, let me show you what you can do to put your flowers on your paper. You could maybe make some grass and make it look like the flowers are growing up from the grass, or maybe you would like to draw a vase, okay? So here's what I did. I drew a straight line, and then I made a curved line down, and I did the same thing. And when I cut it out, it looked like this, all right? And then I'm going to go ahead and pretend like I'm gluing. I'm going to glue this to my paper, all right? And when you cut that vase out, even whenever your parents cut those rectangles out of the green paper, you probably had some scraps of paper left over. If you had some pipe cleaners, you could use those as well as stems, but I'm going to go ahead and use the scraps that I had. So pretend like I put some glue on there, and I'm going to put those inside my flower vase like that, and then I'm going to glue that little daisy on there like that, and I'm going to glue my tulip on. And you know, you could probably fit a few more flowers if you want. I might put this tulip onto the back, and then I might want to have let me cut off a little bit of that to make another stem. So I could probably go like this and glue that tulip there. You see that? So now it looks like we've got a nice bouquet of flowers, huh? I think I'm just going to stick with 3. And then you can glue your leaves on. Okay. There. And ta-da! Let me clear away the scraps. There you have a vase of flowers. And the cool thing is that you made a beautiful flower out of an ordinary square. How about that? Yeah, maybe you can hang that on your refrigerator. Well, you know what? I would love to see the flowers that you made. So maybe your parents can snap a little picture and put it in the comments to show me your flowers. All right, friends, I'm glad that you joined me today in reading that book and making your own flowers. I've got to get growing now, and I will be back another time reading another story to you. Bye for now.